Hey, welcome to the Copywriter Vijay podcast, where we interview the top 1% email marketers and email copywriters to help you generate extra 10% in your business. And today we have someone who has been part of multiple $1 million launches and has worked with dozens of clients as an email list manager, and he works with financial coaches. He's from US but currently living in Japan as a digital nomad. So without any further ado, let's welcome Logan on the stage. Woohoo!
Hey VJ, thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here.
How are you, bro?
Dude, I'm doing awesome tonight. How are you?
Perfect, bro. Perfect. So today we are going to talk about email list management and email copywriting. And with the and before diving into some serious questions, let's start with some funny questions. Okay.
Cool.
So I'll ask some this or that questions to you, and you need to pick one very quickly.
All right.
So, coffee or tea?
Coffee.
Girlfriend or best friend?
Bros before hoes, best friend.
TV or Netflix?
Netflix all day.
Online or offline shopping?
Online.
And last one, email writing or email list management?
Ooh, that's such a hard one. I love writing, but list management's so important. I'll go with list management.
Perfect, bro. Thank you. So now let's start with some actual questions. These were funny,
Cool.
yeah. So uh, before we start, so just
Mhm.
let our audience know little bit about your background and what do you do basically.
Cool. Yeah, so I have been an email list manager for the last 2 years or so, and
Perfect.
I got my start in the personal finance niche because I realized finances are really important and not enough people
Mm,
know how to manage them well. So
okay.
besides becoming a coach myself, the biggest impact I could make was becoming a copywriter for them. So that's how I got my
Mm-hmm.
start. I've worked with over a dozen clients, from helping people pay off debt to tax professionals to real estate coaches, and I
Mm-hmm.
love what I do. And because I am an email list manager, I'm able to travel the world and live the dream.
Okay. And as you have told me that you are currently living in Japan, and I have
Yeah.
even saw some of your status stories, and you were traveling in the Japan. There were mountains. I just loved, and this is the lifestyle everyone I think wants to live.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah. Oh yeah. It's the best.
yeah. So, uh, how did you get into this email list management and email copywriting? What is your journey?
Um, I started doing odd jobs on Upwork actually. Like
Okay.
I was writing audio tour guides for the country of Malta. I was actually in kind of the adult toy niche for a little bit, doing stuff in there. And then eventually I realized, all right, I want to do something more impactful and something
Okay.
more sustainable for myself. And
Mm-hmm.
that's when
Okay.
I got into email list
Email.
management.
Okay. Perfect. Perfect. So, if I ask you about that, what are the steps to write a killer copy? So, when it comes to write a great copy, so what are your approaches and how do you write copy?
It definitely depends on my client because I think it's important to
Mm.
capture who they are in your copy. I think that's the most important, is what kind of
Okay.
message would they convey? Are they sassy? Are
Mm-hmm.
they informative? But no matter
Mm-hmm.
what, try to give value, make it entertaining, and
Yeah.
leave the audience wanting more.
Okay. So you you do the approach of entertaining as well. Like, I think you have also read Jason Capital, I guess. So he always talks about that. Make your emails funny, more entertaining and less informative. So
Yeah, I
that,
think infotainment's the way to go.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. And how do you get email subject lines that get open? Some curiosity. So how do you write them?
Definitely. I think it's best to try to mix curiosity, benefits, and specificity and fit two of those into your subject line.
Okay, okay. So, you use some curiosity based tricks, yeah.
Hmm.
And when I write email, so mostly what I do that if I have written the email, so I'll pick something from out of it, and then I'll choose it as a subject line. So what approach do you use for it?
I usually think about what the email is going to be first, and
Mhm.
through that, I might have some witty ideas for what the subject line could be. So I'll jot that
Okay.
down. And then after I
Mhm.
write the email, I'll go back and think, okay, does this still work as a subject line, or can I come up with something better? And usually
Okay.
refine it a little bit.
Mm-hmm. True. And do you use any AI for to make it more curiosity or some sort of, or
Uh,
just
I've I've been playing around with AI a lot recently. Actually, I love talking
okay?
to Chat GPT and Jasper, but I
Mm-hmm.
mostly use Jasper for research actually because it's great for pulling up statistics and relevant studies. And
Mm-hmm.
then for curiosity, sometimes I'll use uh, Chat GPT to come up with some ideas for content, and then I obviously take those and twist it into my own.
Okay, perfect. And
Yeah.
ChatGPT is literally awesome right
Yeah,
now.
it's great. Like it's good to start
Mm,
with, but I don't think AI can replace good
okay.
copywriters
Yeah.
anytime soon.
Even I have tried a chat GPT.
Mhm,
So what it does, like, okay, it will give you the good content, but you need to rephrase it in your own way, and
mhm.
you need to use it if you're writing for any client. So you need to insert the brand voice in it, because AI can't insert it, I guess.
Right, like, if there's any coaches listening to this, like, you can easily use it to come up with mechanisms and then
Mm,
just think about, "How would I explain this in my own words?" and use that in
true,
your copy.
true, true. And by the way, what is the industry average of CTR, click through rate, in the emails, and what approach do you use to get more opens? No, not more opens, like more clicks in your emails.
Definitely. Most of my clients, we get in the anywhere between 40 and 60% open rates usually, and
Perfect.
click-through rates are usually 1 to 4% depending on what exactly we're uh,
Mhm.
linking to. And I think really the important part to getting higher open rates and more click through rates is really a good nurture sequence at the beginning, creating a good welcome sequence, and setting expectations and getting people used to your broadcast before they even start coming through.
Okay, so mm, it's like you first nurture them, and then when you are writing sales email, so they would even open those email as well.
Right, right. So even the salesy ones, they want to read it because they've built that relationship with my client. But I don't
True.
believe in really hard selling. So all my emails, even the ones that are very, I guess what you'd call salesy, still try to
Mhm.
go for either information or entertainment.
Okay. And you talked about that you get 40 to 60%. So like if you just take an idea, so what are the email list, like 10K, how much email list are there? So I think it also depends. Like
Oh yeah, definitely. My clients usually range from at the lowest I have someone who has only 2,500 on his email list, but
okay,
we get good click-through rates, like a couple percent because he's built a good connection with a
then
small
next.
list. Like you
Hmm.
don't need a massive list, but a lot of my clients do have about 10,000 to 15,000 on their list, and even they maintain good open rates and click rates.
True. And I guess mm, it's also matter of deliverability, like where emails are landing. So how do you make sure that emails are landing in the inbox only, not in the promotion or in the spam box?
Yeah, when I start working with the client, I take some steps to improve deliverability, which means putting things into their emails to get people to reply and engage more to improve deliverability, and putting some secret code into the emails that'll help with
Yeah.
that. And really just setting the nurture sequence at the beginning so people are opening and engaging from the start so that their domain
Mhm.
looks good.
True, and Troy Erickson is the boss, we can say
Oh yeah.
king in that.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
I love reading his emails. Like it's short and short, crispy, and it's to the point. Troy
Oh
Erickson's
yeah.
email. Yeah.
He's a good marketer, and like
Yeah.
I know that you're the one asking the questions, but do you have any like favorite copywriters that you like read their emails every day?
I mostly read maybe Daniel Throssell, I
Oh,
guess.
I love him too.
Uh,
Yeah.
he's literally funny guy. He's literally a funny guy, and
Yeah, I
I
love
love
to try
reading.
to write like him.
Yeah, and like who's your favorite? Troy?
I'm definitely on like Team Throssell. I read Daniel Throssell and John Bajakovic every day.
Okay.
Troy's up there though.
Yeah, true. And by the way, when you have signed the contract with the client, so when you are actually writing email, so how do you adapt the brand voice? Because it is the must when we are writing the emails. So how do you adapt their brand voice into the emails?
I have a pretty in-depth questionnaire that I send clients when they start working with me. Now,
Okay.
it's work for them up front, but in the end, it saves both of us a lot of time where I get in depth
Mhm.
into asking them about things that they like to say, how would they phrase certain things, words they like to
Okay.
say. And then
Mm.
on top of the information they give me, I go through and I read a lot of their content. I listen to podcasts they've been on and try to learn how they
Mm.
speak, and I create essentially a voice guide document. And I think that's
Mhm.
key is being able to refer back to something and think, how does
Mhm.
this person write? Oh, I can just look at my notes.
True, and it is. I think it's must, and I think when I also work with clients, so I send them the questionnaires. So and I ask them that send in the voice note. Okay, so what happens that we are listening it, and it is also saving their time and our time as well. So it's I think best approach we can do.
Yeah, I think that's really smart as well. I might start using that myself actually to get them
True.
to send a voice note. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it would be better for them as well. And when you are writing daily emails, so how do you get the ideas? Because when you are in the starting, so we can write, but when we are in the long term contract, so how do you come up with different ideas, some more and more that would get open as well as the readers would love to read. So some different ideas. How do you get?
Yeah, that's a good question. And sometimes I look back. I have a client where we write about taxes, like, because he's a CPA, he's an accountant. And I'm like, how have we written over a year's worth of emails about taxes, constantly coming up with new ideas? And I think
Okay.
it really comes down to trying to tie unrelated things together and looking
Hmm.
at how you can connect things. Like, I've written stories about Nicolas Cage, I've written things about what's in the news. I think it's
Hmm.
important to constantly take in information from various sources, like
Okay.
popular media, movies, other content, and what's going on in the world, so you can tie in ideas that your readers would actually be able to engage with as well.
True. And if client is from US, so I think the most of his audience would be from US. So
Mhm.
what we can do, like we can watch some news as well from their media. So people from US would actually open emails and they would love to read, I guess.
Definitely. And
Yeah.
like I have a client who's in the UK as well. And
Okay.
sometimes like I struggle with that because I realize, okay, I need to look up more stuff in the UK.
True. So yeah, that's the thing. And as you were talking about that you have been part of multiple launches, so what are the things that you do before launches and during launches, so as a email list manager, so
Of
what do you
course,
do?
I don't think that the launch comes down to just email, so I think it's important to coordinate things with the client. It's almost like a
Mm.
dance with moving pieces where email's
True.
playing an important role, but then also they have their VSL or whatever else they're doing to get people to
Mm.
book a call or sell their course. So I think it's
Okay.
important to get the message of the copy together, do research on the ideal clients or like the ideal customers of the client and really
Mhm.
find out what are their pain points, what objections might they have, and use
Okay.
emails to pre-handle objections. So before they even get to the sales page, they've
Mhm.
already gone through, well, what if I can't afford this? Okay, well, it's worth it if I do this. Or why would I hire this person? Okay, well, the email's already answered this.
Mhm. So it's like before doing the launches, we can start sending emails that won't direct that we are that you need to buy, but they will get an idea that okay, this guy is going to have an launch, and they are it's the emails are similar to the launches, and it will tell little bit about it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's more saying, hey, here's a problem people have, and you have it too. And guess what? This solution that you've been waiting for, the best answer to your problem is about to come out, and you're not going to want to miss out to get in at the best price.
True. And during the launch, so how many emails do you send per launch? Just an idea. And like, and how many days you open the cart, and in how many days you just close it, because it is also
Um, Yeah, that's a good question. I've had some clients that like to do various strategies. One, we
important.
had a pre-sale cart, and then we directed people to a webinar where at the end of the webinar they were sold, and then we had the official public launch after that. So it was
Mm-hmm.
essentially three mini launches where there was the pre-sale for a wait list, which
Okay.
lasted about 4 days. And then there was the
Mm-hmm.
webinar, which was about a week. And then the public launch was also about 4 days. Usually it's the cart's open for 4 days to a week.
Okay. And from I think you skip weekends because people don't trade in weekends. So I think it's best to start from Monday, or from when do you start?
Actually, I am not opposed to sending in weekends. And
Okay.
actually, there was a Q&A Troy did where he was saying that Sunday afternoons are a pretty good time to send out emails because that's when people are free and are able to check emails. So I send 7 days a
Mhm.
week if for launches.
Okay, okay, okay. And you even start on the Saturday as well.
Yeah, yeah, I'd start on a Saturday. It all depends, like, if we're doing it
Yeah,
around a
when.
holiday or,
Mm,
like, the start of a month. It depends on that.
great, great. And by the way, when you are signing a client and when you are going on the sales call, so what are the questions do you ask to them? And if they have said yes, so how do you do contract with them for email list
So,
manager?
my questions on the call are more trying to figure out if I can actually help them. A
Okay.
lot of my recent clients have come from referrals, so it's more finding out, okay, do they have a big enough list that I can help with? Do they have a
Okay.
product that they're selling? Are they
Mhm.
making enough money that they can afford me? And do I really think that I can add to their business?
Mhm.
And then,
Absolutely.
assuming it's all yes, and they say yes to working, I have a pre-written contract that I just fill in a couple blanks about the scope of the project and send it their way. And as soon as it's
Mhm.
signed and paid, we begin.
Okay. And like as you are talking about contract, so it's like you write in the Google Docs and then send the PDF, or you use an application for it.
I have a Word document saved that I'll save as a PDF once I fill in the
Okay.
blanks and send it
Mhm.
over to them to just e-sign.
Okay. And if we just get an idea, so how much do you charge per client? It's not. I know that as a email list manager, we charge on the basis of how many emails are there in their emails, and what are their revenue. But just an idea that how much do you charge? Uh,
Um, for one of my lowest packages, I guess for 2 emails a week, I do $1,000 a month.
okay, great. And what's the highest? Okay,
The highest daily email, so like that's basically 30 a month. That'll come up to about 5,000.
perfect, perfect. And would you like to recommend some books for writing killer emails and great emails? So, what
Yeah,
are the books? Good?
I think it's important to read things beyond just copywriting books to learn a lot.
Mhm.
about how
Okay.
to write well. Um, one of my favorites are actually about psychology, such as Tricks of the Mind by Darren Brown, and then
Okay. Very.
Thinking Fast and Slow. I'm blanking
Mm,
on the author's name now, but I think those two are two of the best books I've read about psychology that have helped me with
perfect.
my sales copy.
Yeah. I have listened Jason, and he was talking that you just need to learn just persuasion and psychology, and you are very good at email copywriting and whatever you would do, because people would just go, okay, I need to read this book to write good copy, but you just need the skill of persuasion, and if you have that skill, that you would just do it and you would get it. What are your
Yeah.
thoughts?
I think that when you're starting out, it's important to learn the
Mm,
fundamentals and the basics. So
mm,
I think reading like really famous older books on copywriting, like Gary Halbert or Dan Kennedy, and those
yeah.
kinds of guys are. It's important to learn the fundamentals, but once you start getting a little knowledge, once you get a little experience, it's important to switch to learning about persuasion and psychology more.
Mm, absolutely. And Dan Kennedy is like it's a legend. Gary Halbert, those are legends.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And how do you land those high-paying clients? And since when you are in this industry of email list management, and how do you land the clients who pay more? That kind.
Yeah, I mean, when I started out, it was all cold outreach via Instagram. I'd send out
Mm,
video DMs to my prospective clients. I
okay.
did free trials to get my first testimonials, and then
Mm,
free trials that turned into my first paid clients. And then from
okay.
then, it's all been referrals.
Yeah, referrals works like crazy.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
And currently, you are working alone, or it's your team who manages all the things?
It is just me.
It's just you, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. And how many clients currently you are working with?
I think right now I've got 8 active retainer clients.
Okay, perfect, bro. And what about the lifestyle in the Japan, and how is everything going on over there?
It's good. I'm doing my best to balance taking trips and
Okay.
keeping up with work. Like it's great being able to like work in fancy hotels and all that, or like while
Mm-hmm.
on the train to vacation and then enjoy my time while I'm there.
Mm-hmm. So I think you pre-write, I think 5 or 10 days emails, and then you would schedule it.
Usually I'm working at least a couple days in advance. I'd like to always
Mm.
be 5 to 10 days in advance, but sometimes
Okay.
it'll come down to just being a couple days in advance for my clients in terms of like fleshing out last minute ideas or trying to have
Mhm.
really up to date information or stories involved in the emails.
Okay, absolutely amazing. And so you are from US, yeah,
Hmm.
and currently living in Japan.
Oh,
Wow,
yeah.
great. So, anything else would you like to share about email list management before we wrap up?
Yeah, I think that a lot of coaches don't realize its importance in their overall strategy, even if their
Exactly.
entire business is based off Instagram, if that's where they find their clients. But
Mhm.
their Instagram could be taken down in an instant. It's happened to some of my clients before. And at
Okay.
that point, all you have left is your email because that list is yours and you have a greater connection with them than followers on social media. So I think it's never too late to start, but you should start as soon as possible in terms of building a list and starting to send out emails.
Absolutely, bro. And many of the coaches that they don't understand its value. And
Hmm.
I think it's been year, and I think around 1 year ago, and 5 or 6 months, I think, uh, like Facebook and Instagram were stuck at that time. Like people who had email list, they were still making money.
Right, right. Yeah. Everyone with the list was making money. And even during the pandemic, people like Ben Settle, whose list was solely on email, their like profits like surged. A lot of coaches I knew who were had a good email list, knew how to take advantage of the situation, and were still making a lot of money, even with all the stuff going on social media.
Mm-hmm, absolutely. And what are the email list you would suggest to someone who is just starting to subscribe email list? They can read and they can follow some instructions, so they can also start
If you
this.
want to become an email list manager,
Mm,
I recommend subscribing to Stefan Georgi, Daniel
perfect.
Thrussell, Ben
Yeah.
Settle, and
Mm,
Troy Erickson, and Ian Stanley. Those would be my 5. And hand copy their emails. Like,
mm,
that's how I got my start, was following those types of people, hand copying emails, and learning the fundamentals.
perfect. And where can someone find you if they want to reach out?
I'm on Instagram on logan.hobby and
Logan.
or 41copy.com.
Okay, you are on. It's your website, yeah. 41
Yes.
Copy. Okay, perfect. And it was literally awesome. And I think we can have a picture.
Perfect. Yeah, let's do a picture.
Yeah,
Cool.
perfect, bro. Just a second.
One more.
Mm. Thank you so much and have a nice day. Keep crushing. And yeah,
You too, VJ. It was an honor to be on here.
thank you, bro. Thank you.